knows where the shoe pinches, whereas the bureaucrat may not know where the shoe pinches. So, but the bureaucrat distills the essence of the issues, the quintessence of the issues coming up in a department or in a collectorate, and is able to project in a manner intelligible to the politician so that he can take well-informed decision. From that point of view today, I can assure you, the IAS has not let down, in the sense even today IAS is performing that role in many ministries, in many collectorates in a satisfactory manner. This is what I would say. And remember that when we say this, the IAS today is not as it was in my time. In my time, the entry into IAS was only by people who had taken humanities or some science courses. Maybe mostly they were MAs, mostly they were MA History, MA Economics. Sometimes like me they might be physics graduates, mathematics graduates. So it was just mathematics MA or mathematics economics or MSc physics or BSc physics, chemistry, etc. in my time. But today, the good feature of the IAS, the composition of IAS is a number of talents and skills and aptitudes they are entering in the IAS. IITians are coming into IAS. IIMs people are coming into IAS. Doctors are coming into IAS. Engineers are peopling IAS. Therefore, it is no longer a monopoly of people who just held graduate degrees or postgraduate degrees in humanities and sciences. A variety of disciplines are now peopling IAS. And it has a great advantage in the sense these people come with a broader frame of reference with regard to the understanding of the issues, and therefore they are able to provide the necessary expertise, professional expertise, even with regard to things that used to be very complex to us. For instance, when I became Damodar Valley Corporation chairman, I had to sort of learn the whole art of running a power station from the scratch. I had to sit with my 5 chief engineers and learn and so on. The same thing, Victor became the chairman of Narvada Chemicals and so on. He had to learn all the things from the scratch. But today, there is a mingling of a variety of disciplines in the IAS, and it is all to the good. Therefore, the second thing is the minister-IAS relationship. I will come to the problems there later on. The third aspect of IAS is the people-to-people relationship has broadened, I would say. In my time, mostly persons with elitist families, well-to-do families, used to get into the IAS. For instance, the recruitment itself in my year was only 35. And all those 35 of them, I remember, 10 were the sons of ex-foreign secretary and important lawyer and attorney general and so on, in, say about 55, 60 years ago. People entering the IAS were more or less from well-to-do families. But today, the IAS is composed of people who can be expected to know the aspirations of the ground level people, because as you see in the newspapers very often, a auto rickshaw driver's son, a peasant's son, somehow or the other, there is this aspiration, the aspiration level even amongst people whom we used to consider to belong to the lower strata of society. I should not use that word. In our time, we used to consider them to belong to the lower strata of society. Even people of those strata of society are now full of aspiration. They want their sons to become great in a very short time, and IAS gives them the opening because it is an open competitive examination. So the third aspect of IAS today, I would say a good aspect of IAS today is that unlike in our time, the elitist character of IAS, many people condemn IAS saying it is an elitist service. Probably it was at one time. the elitist character of IAS has been diluted, and the members of the IAS are closer to the ground, are closer to realizing and recognizing or appreciating the aspirations of the people, which I think is a good point. The fourth and final point about the IAS of today is the fact that they have the opportunity of interacting with the private sector. In our time, there wasn't this opportunity of blending the cultures of the various institutions in this country, private sector especially. In my time, the private sector was just for the sake of form's sake. Maybe we had Tatas in Jamshedpur and so on. But today, there is best practices from various sectors, private sector, public sector, governmental sector, academia. So the IAS has access to the best practices that prevail in various sections of the society, which opportunity we didn't have. Therefore, whether they like it or not, the best practices, the flow of best practices, they meet people in parties, they meet private sector, they meet academia, there is interchange. Kaushik Basu comes to the Planning Commission, Montek Singh goes to the IM. This kind of mobility, the volume, the velocity, the mobility, and the media, electronic media and so on, the access to the best practices and the best standards and the world-class approach to problems that is available to IAS because of the very nature of the situation, inherent nature of the situation. These four aspects taken together, barring what we dramatically read in the papers, have conferred on this All India service a kind of a credibility, a capacity, if not credibility, to perform. Now, are they performing? I have said they are performing. In the number of ministries that I have gone, they are performing. We do not know them. For instance, I can give the example of Rao. When Surat was completely ravaged and devastated by plague, one Rao put it all back again. He put it all back again. This young boy, Radhakrishnan, who was probably collector in Nagapattinam when the 2004 tsunami struck, he became a model of disaster management, and Clinton flew all the way from America to have a chat with him. He engaged him to prepare a disaster manual. Radhakrishnan prepared a disaster manual, which he was invited to the United States and the United Kingdom to sell that disaster manual, to explain how he managed. Actually, one Radhakrishnan, one Bedi, one Swaran Singh, these are the people in Chennai. They could have managed the Katrina disaster in Louisiana with the little finger. Therefore, they are performing. But the question arises, as you know, the strength of a chain is in its weakest link. There are certainly vulnerable, weak areas. There are certainly weak and vulnerable people in the IAS who can be pressured, who can be forced and coerced, who are out to live a good life, whose lifestyles may not be in keeping with what is expected of them in terms of value. There are people who fall for the blandishments, the political blandishments, and certainly they develop an excess, and certainly there is a liaison between them and the ministers. But this can be set right only by leadership. I come to the final point. What are the solutions for this? If there is a slippage in what is expected of them, if there is a slippage in the expectations, what are the remedies? What are the solutions? The first thing is leadership. I'm not talking of political or other